Okay, guys. Hey, here's what we're going to take a look at today. With this is going to be pretty quick, but I did want to make sure that I went over this with you guys. Here, you're going to be taking a look at this style section right here, and I know that you spent some time working on font alignment and number and whatnot. Even did a little bit of formatting over here with cell styles. I'll show you some of that. But what we're going to focus on here is conditional formatting. This is a tool that's available in Excel that can really help you see some trends and see some data that you're looking at. It gets a little complex, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I do want to show you guys how to use this, especially like if you're doing a lab for science class and you're trying to draw attention to something very quickly. Obviously, you know that you can use your paint bucket over here, but that really only works one cell at a time or for a specific block of text. This conditional formatting will find exactly what you're looking for. So you can see here that there are some different ways that you can define this. We're going to focus on these two at the top: highlight cell rules and then the top and bottom rules. These other things down here at the bottom are things that you can set, like two or three different sets of data, and then obviously as you can see, like the green, yellow, and red, things that are low that you set in the low end would show up with a red circle by it or arrow going down or whatever rule you pick. Things that are in the middle on whatever you set that rule to be would show up with that, and then things that are good at the top would show up as green. So that's kind of how that works. But like I said, we're going to focus on this here. First, I just kind of want to show you again, we have our payment table that we went through on Monday. And if you remember, I had some questions over here to the side. And one of the things that I said is, what if we were on a budget of $700 a month? Okay, and I had you go through and take a look at what we could afford, and we looked at the highest option that we could afford, and we said, well, that's right here. But we want to be able to visually show people all the different loan amounts in here that we could afford up to $700. So the first thing you always have to make sure you do when you're working in conditional formatting is highlight your data range, which in this case will be just my answers here. Come up to conditional formatting, and we're going to do highlight cell rules. Now, this is going to seem a little backwards at first, but you have to keep in mind that you're working with negative numbers. So when we want to show everything that would be below 700, we're actually going to do greater than, because these are showing up as negative numbers. Okay, if it were positive numbers, we would do less than. But remember, a smaller negative number is greater than a bigger negative number, if that hopefully makes sense to you. So again, here it comes up with a default. It kind of splits the table right down the middle, but we know that our excuse me, our parameter is that we want to see everything that is greater than negative 700. So I just simply type that in. Now, I typically change this to a green color because again, we're wanting to see things that are good or that fall within a range. So I always change it to green for that, and then I click OK. I click off, and now you can see here it automatically highlights everything that meets that criteria of being less than $700 a month. So if we were wanting to quickly and easily highlight that and show that, this conditional formatting is a really good option for doing that. Okay, because with a paint bucket we'd have to do one column at a time and we'd have to figure out where to stop. So that works out really well there. Here's another example of where you can use this. This goes back to our average attendance file that we did a couple weeks ago. So what I've done here is I've highlighted the 3 years worth of data, and I want to see the numbers that fall within the top 10%. So again, I would have to calculate all that out here with a calculation or a function to be able to see that. Again, I just highlight my data range here. I come to conditional formatting. I go to top bottom rules. Now, notice that you can do this either by top 10 items, in which that case it would show you the top 10 highest attendance numbers, just raw numbers. I'm actually going to do a top 10 percentage here. So again, I want to show, and notice here that I can change this if I want to see the top 5%, if I want to see, let's say, the top 20%, I can keep increasing that, but I'm just going to leave it at top 10% for now. And again, I always change this to a green fill. I click OK, and now I can see here a couple of different things going up and down. I can see that, out of the last 3 years, in 2011, only two attendance data number points were in that top 10%. In 2012, I had four, and in 2013, I had three. And then I can also see that the Lakers, Orlando, and Atlanta have multiple top 10 attendance numbers for that 3 year period of time, with LA being in the top 10 all 3 years. So again, just by simply doing that, I can see trends, I can see things a lot clearer than, again, just having that data out there by itself. So conditional formatting, you're going to work on it in the packet for today, but I kind of wanted to go through and show you some of that. I think that the cell styles will be pretty easy for you guys to figure out. Just kind of remember back to what we did in Word with formatting tables in there and setting up table styles with that. It's basically the same thing that you do with that. So again, that kind of shows you how that works, and hopefully you won't have any trouble working on that in the packet.